On here with your forecast first. Warm out there this evening, still in the mid 80s across the area after another day up around 100 across most of the area. And I gotta tell you, think about how hot Wednesday was. Tomorrow may look a lot like that. That heat really just kind of settles back in on us to start the weekend. Most of the area up around 100, and some spots even quite a few degrees above 100. But we do have some changes on the way. We'll talk about that in the tropics as WGNO News at 10 starts now.
You're watching WGNO News at 10, New Orleans' very own.
Welcome to WGNO News. I'm Susan Roche.
And I'm Kurt Sprang. And the fire at the Marathon Refinery in St. John Parish may not be completely out.
Just a few hours ago, the parish released a statement about an ongoing effort to put the fire out. WGNO's Rick Gogrieve is at the scene where they're still dealing with flare-ups. Rick.
Susie and Kurt, the fire is now contained. However, every now and then you can see some glowing in the sky that comes from those flare-ups that you just mentioned. Now, it has been a very long day for everyone involved. About 7 a.m., a large tank containing a dangerous chemical called naphtha began leaking at the Marathon Refinery, eventually catching on fire. As the flames continued to grow, St. John the Baptist Parish President Jacqueline Hotard issued an emergency declaration as well as a mandatory evacuation for residents living within a 2-mile radius of the fire.
It is a little scary, and that's why we have all been assembled here, including our partners with Marathon, to make sure that we put together a unified response and that we're working together to ensure the safety of our residents. That's always our priority.
More than 50 people responded to the fire, including refinery personnel as well as state and parish emergency workers.
I can assure you that everything that needed to be done has been done, and what we're doing now is also as a precautionary measure for our residents in that impacted area.
But many residents like Deborah Johnson say they didn't receive any official notification about the fire until 11:30.
I have grandkids, I have my puppy, and also my husband has lung cancer, and we are going through that process of now we're taking treatments, and I think it should have been a better protocol than what they did.
Hotard could not confirm when the first alarm went out, but Toya Martin says it was simply not fast enough.
Nothing. I didn't get a ding to my phone. I didn't get an email. I didn't get anything. It just took word of mouth. I think they should definitely learn from this experience how to get it out, mass communication.
Thankfully, as of now, no injuries have been reported. Susie and Kurt, back to you.
Right, we'll keep watching that and make sure that they really do get it completely out. Thanks, Rick.
And that compound that caught fire, naphtha, is used in the refining process to make gasoline. If you get it on your skin, or worse, if you swallow it, it can make you very sick. But brief exposure to the smoke for most people will only cause temporary watering of the eyes or maybe a cough. Still, doctors will want to check to make sure you're okay.
And folks that are actually exhibiting symptoms of exposure should still present themselves to the emergency department in a timely fashion so that we can evaluate and treat them.
Jeffrey Quo is an emergency room doctor for Ochsner and also oversees emergency responses for much of our area and the EMTs and paramedics. He was in contact with first responders, he says, at the scene all day.
Well, that was not the first fire at Marathon Refinery. In February of last year, a fire led to an explosion and one Marathon worker was injured.
Then in October of last year, an overnight fire injured 2 workers. The sheriff's office said that time there was no threat to the public.
The environmental group, Louisiana Bucket Brigade, released a statement on this fire today that reads in part, "The petrochemical industry is here in Louisiana for one reason only, to make as much money as possible. As long as the state of Louisiana continues to look away from fires and mushroom clouds, these accidents will continue." Governor Edwards got a good look at the wildfire damage today in Beauregard Parish.
That's where the state's largest wildfire has been burning for days. More from reporter Kai Price.
Governor John Bel Edwards says during this month, the amount of land that has burned has never been seen before.
In the month of August, as of this morning, 441 different forest fires, over 30,000 acres burned. We've not seen that before.
Agriculture and Forestry Mike Strain says they are continuing to fight these fires.
We're fighting between 25 and 30 fires today as we speak, as we're standing right here. We have 9 active fires, some new. We will continue to fight these fires until they are extinguished. We will bring every asset to bear that we have and any others that we can find from anywhere.
Beauregard Sheriff Mark Herford says they have been notified of multiple fires starting and asked residents in the area to evacuate immediately.
We're getting calls still daily about, they're watching their neighbors thump cigarette butts out of the car windows. Please don't do that. Like the commissioner said, there is no reason at all whatsoever to have open flame outside at this point. I know that it's inconvenient for people to pack a bag and leave, but trust me when I tell you, we don't take issuing those orders lightly. And if we issue them, we need you to comply with them. We need you to pack your stuff and go.
In Beauregard Parish, Kai Price, KLFY, News 10.
And there is an online interactive map that can show you where all of the wildfires are in our state and across the nation, along with location. It'll tell you how big each fire is or if it's contained, and we have a link to it on our website, WGNO.com. Sabine Parish has seen some of the worst wildfires across the state. Now someone is arrested in connection with at least one of them. The State Department of Agriculture and Forestry arrested 21-year-old Jeremiah Hill. Investigators say Hill posted threats of arson on social media. At last word, his bond had not been set. In Sabine Parish, more than 10,000 acres are burned from wildfires. Investigators believe a downed power line may have also contributed to one.
The New Orleans Fire Department put out a fire this afternoon at about 2 p.m. in the 2800 block of O'Reilly Street in the Fairgrounds neighborhood. The fire started in a wood-framed duplex and escalated into a 3-alarm fire with 62 firefighters. Several neighboring houses were damaged, but no one was hurt. The statewide burn ban has been upgraded to a total ban. As of noon today, any exceptions to that ban are no longer allowed. That means no recreational or agricultural burning at all. The new burn ban is in effect until further notice.
Covering America, there is now a list of everyone still considered missing after the deadly wildfires in Hawaii.
Plus, the local government is suing Hawaiian Electric. ABC reporter Rena Roy has more.
Hundreds of people in Maui County are still unaccounted for. Officials now releasing their names in hopes of tracking them down.
It can and will cause pain for some folks that are affected by this. This is not an easy thing to do, but we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can possibly to make this investigation the most complete, thorough to date.
So many still trying to wrap their heads around the catastrophic loss.
We're all survivors of this tragedy, but there's still so many people missing. So the process is ongoing, and so is the grief.
All that's left of Susie Richter's home in Lahaina is a burnt-out shell. At least 114 people confirmed dead. Entire areas completely destroyed. Maui County filing a lawsuit against energy firm Hawaiian Electric, which provides electricity to 95% of the state, accusing the company of failing to turn off electric equipment before those deadly wildfires started on the island. The lawsuit claiming the widespread destruction could have been avoided if electricity to the power lines had been cut during the dry conditions and high winds that preceded the inferno. The suit says the company knew the high winds would topple power poles, knock down power lines, and ignite vegetation. In a press conference a week after the fire, an electric company representative said that unlike California, Hawaii does not have a shutoff program, saying they are controversial and not universally accepted. Firefighters who battled the blaze recalling the intense conditions.
One of the large gusts was able to take the line and me and knock me into a tree. And I'm a fairly big guy.
Hawaiian Electric has released a statement saying their focus after the unimaginable tragedy has been to do everything they can to support both the people of Maui and the county, adding they're disappointed the county chose this path while the investigation is still unfolding. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Still ahead on WGNO News, why the Louisiana Shrimpers Association is asking the governor to issue a disaster declaration for the shrimping industry.
Plus, it was an out-of-control brawl at Chalmette High School last week. Find out what parents want to do.
And watching the tropics through the weekend that are in the southern Gulf of note. Talk about that coming up.